Hey, how are you?
Well,
Hey,
good, how are
how's
you?
it going?
Nick,
Nick, see.
nice to meet you in person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate your help.
No problem. No problem.
Beautiful day out there.
It's fantastic.
Forward being here.
I know. I
Maybe
agree.
I'll make it go quicker.
Just take this outside, right? Yeah, I agree.
Ah,
Oh,
Hey, you CJ?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Nick.
Yeah.
Well,
It's your birthday. Nice to meet you too.
How you been?
I'm great. This is my son Joe. We just came from some tennis. So.
Oh, you were okay. Yeah, great. I was you guys were our rivals. I was USN. Oh, way back. Yeah, only 40. So, but yeah, you guys always kind of had our number. But
Yeah, it was.
yeah, we're all boys, so.
Yeah, right.
I was a boy.
A lot of them. They got 80 kids now for sure.
Yeah, I believe it. You guys
Yeah.
are a great tennis team. And yeah, we have 2 boys, 2 girls. So hopefully, 2 more boys will go to Marquette.
Right, quite, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Like, I was up there in 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like real fast.
He did volleyball, he's just at lacrosse right now.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. It is 6:03. I'll ask staff to take a roll call.
Thanks, Mayor Devine. Here. Wayne Clark, Eric Torkelson,
Here.
Ryan Frank,
Here.
Brandon Reinke,
Here.
Jessica Katzenmeyer, Kathleen Degenhardt,
Is
And Lisa-
expected.
expected, okay, and then Lisa Coons, I think, was Lisa excused, I think.
Not on here.
Okay, so maybe they'll be here, but we do have a quorum, yeah.
Then let's go to item C, which is approval of the minutes from our meeting on February 26th. A motion and a second. Were there any changes or corrections? All right, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? The February minutes are approved. And we will go to part D. And items 2A and 2B will be the conditional use permit for the Pickler, and I will turn it over to staff.
Thanks, Mayor. Let's move this on here.
Yep, thank you. This project is for the Pickler and the former Dunham's sporting goods site at 2550 South 108th Street. Pickler is a facility that will provide opportunity for recreational pickleball through a membership format. It's a expanding business, capitalizing on the growth of pickleball as a sport in the country. And it's taking place in that former Dunham's store. Shown here is that location that was mentioned earlier with the former Dunham's. There's no changes to the existing building rather than on an exterior scale. And this specific review is just for the conditional use permit to help guide the Pickler forward through additional approvals. And the Pickler will return for more comprehensive site landscaping plans at a future meeting. But tonight we're just reviewing the use to help facilitate the Pickler to move through common council approval and other approvals. Shown on the site, you don't see any changes right now, but we'll receive a more comprehensive site plan at a later date. This is just showing, we did want to mention though, just so we could get some basic review done at this meeting, we did want to mention that the existing landscaping on the Pickler site has kind of fallen in somewhat disrepair since over time. So we did want plan commissions we just want commissioners just to review the existing landscaping compared to the 1994 landscaping. Any missing species, dead species, or changes will have to be in accordance with this 1994 landscape plan. Steve went out and we did notice some site deficiencies such as maintenance needed to replace missing and dead landscaping. Some catch basins were sunk in. Additionally, the refuse area on the site has damaged fencing at this time. So we're asking a replacement with that to align with our design review guidelines. As you can see here, some more site pictures, just showing that existing parking lot mostly. Unclear at this time if there's going to be any future pavement replacement on this property, but it could enhance curb appeal for this property as well. This just shows some more conditions of the parking lot landscaping conditions, along with some trees. With the transition in the summer, it should give some more clarity on the existing landscaping and the condition of it. Here's that existing refuse area that needs to be replaced with a four-sided wooden feature. Not shown is just that floor plan of the facility. There's, I believe, 10 pickleball courts on the within the facility, along with an event space area that can be utilized for events, private parties, and then also there's a pro shop, and then of course locker and changing room as well. With that being said, we do recommend approval of just the conditional use, or recommendation for approval of the conditional use tonight. subject to those future landscaping and architectural plans being submitted with those features that plan commission may designate, and then in alignment with the staff recommendations. Thank you.
Did the, did I skip the floor plan or something? Yep.
I thought it was supposed to pop up, but
Okay, maybe it's,
it didn't pop up, so.
does everyone have a copy of the floor plan in their handout? Okay, yeah. Sorry
All in all,
for
the floor plan was very simple and straightforward with just those 10 pickleball courts and then that middle area compromised by the event and gathering space.
Questions?
that. We have also here tonight CJ Murray and team with the Pickler.
Anything to add if you want, sure?
No, I'm CJ Murray. I'm Director of Investor Relations for Merkle Capital. And we are the franchisee for the state of Wisconsin and some other Midwest areas for the Pickler, which is a nationwide franchise based out of Salt Lake City. Currently about 35 Picklers around the country. Our group opened one in Green Bay on February 1st, a 7-court facility. And we're currently under construction on one in Menomonee Falls across from high school there. We're appreciative of the feedback that we've received from the city and the commission's consideration of our application. And we're happy to answer any questions they might have. Also with me is our landlord, Nick Berkey.
Yes. Representative of the land.
We're really excited to be in West Dallas for this location specifically. We certainly want to be a big asset for the community.
In my opinion, it's an exciting addition to the corridor. There's not anything like that yet, and I think that's going to be very cool. Kind of lines up with the vision for the whole stretch from 894 going south all the way into Greenfield. So
Yeah, now that the building was built over 30 years ago for Dunham's. Dunham's has been there for a long time. Obviously, they had responsibility for taking care of things and stuff, and now they're gone. And so we hope that us working together, we're going to get this looking very nice and be a good addition to the community. So I think it's going to be an improvement, and that's our goal overall. But obviously, the CUP going approaches to know that we've got a approval of the use.
Mhm.
The needs that will help us kind of move forward with the rest of it. And
if your son's on Marquette's tennis team, is he a mean pickleball player too?
I don't know, there is sometimes in tennis and pickleball, I can't get him to play very much. Yeah, not here, we can our choice.
Yeah, right. Awesome. Any questions from the commission?
I have a question for Stephen.
Yeah, go ahead, Wayne.
Yeah, what we have here is another situation where there's a change in ownership, a change in direction of this facility. But over the years, it's been allowed to deteriorate as described in the exterior. And why aren't we able to deal with in this case, Dunham's over the years and have them keep things up? And it's not just Dunham's, it's happens time after time. Things are set, they deteriorate, and we don't do anything about it.
Good question. A difficult, a big challenge with the city. The number of properties that we have, not all of them will rise to the surface. So yeah, it's on us that it was left to defer, but fortunately, we have a new tenant and a willing owner that's looking forward to the future, and I think we'll see things freshen up here soon.
I'm delighted with that. I agree with that. It's backward looking that I want to challenge. And
I think a lot of that, Wayne, is that we have, as far as code enforcement specifically, and maybe a little bit removed from planning, we have 3 people covering the entire city. And with the complaints that they get, not only coming through the 10 alderpersons, not only coming through my office, they don't really go out patrolling unless they do a saturation in an area for a specific reason, but a lot of it is complaint based. So like I just called in not far from here, there was half of a sign blown off of a business on Highway 100 that might sell tires, which I won't name, but they so I sent that to them. And like Dunham's, I guess, to be honest, I noticed the landscaping wasn't being kept up, but I didn't think the facade was I mean, it wasn't bright and new, but I didn't think it was awful compared to some of the things we have. So I think a lot of it comes down to just the amount of staff we have that can respond. And it's not as many as we'd like, but this is one of those things, again, that comes back to the state financial restrictions on communities in Wisconsin, which I rarely miss a chance to bring that up to the public's attention. Is, we can only spend so much money. We have to keep the taxes as respectable as we can. It's not always easy. And, it's budgetary as much as priority, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I hear you. I definitely hear you. Any other questions? We did have a motion on a second.
No, I'll move.
It was moved. It was
Oh,
moved and
was it?
seconded. Yeah, I
Okay.
think you moved it actually. Didn't you? I think Wayne seconded.
Okay.
Did
I didn't. I was.
I imagine that?
Perhaps.
Or maybe it was the minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I'm just trying to get outside.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, we have a motion. We have a second. Sorry. You want to second it, Wayne?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
It's 71 degrees out. I'm looking out the window. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. You just look like.
Yeah, I did.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you.
all. Yeah, good to see you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Feel free to reach out.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
Appreciate it.
I was like, yeah.
That was me. That was me. Okay. We'll move on to item 3 then. Like site and landscape and architectural design review to convert a single family into a duplex at 2001 South 70th Street. I'll turn it over to staff.
Thank you, Mayor. This project is for the conversion of a duplex or conversion of a single family home into a duplex. The current property is zoned RB. It's on the city's more eastern area of the city. In the RB district, 2-unit dwellings are permitted use. Additionally, we do require that for the design that looks and character of the neighborhood are maintained and established. The site plan shows a new porch extension facing South 70th Street at 126 square feet, along with a 2-story, 22-foot by 21-foot extension onto the back of the house, giving a rather different shape that's still in alignment with the overall aesthetics of the neighborhood. New wooden stairs and a landing lead to the balcony, along with the balcony. Additionally, one aspect that we wanted to bring to attention is that the side setback is currently at 1.7 feet or 1 foot 7 inches. And in the RB district, a 3-foot setback is required. This will require a variance from the Board of Appeals to move forward. This is something that is unfortunately at part of the existing building. It's already at 1 foot 7 inches rather than the setback increasing. So we just have to verify that through Board of Appeals and obtain the variance for this project. Here's the existing house shown on that corner of 70th and Rogers. Here's that side and rear of the property. Shown on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see that the top of the house is capped off at a different architectural feature than the flip gabled roof that is shown on the left side existing. With the material, we see a 6-inch vinyl siding extended throughout the entire building, along with replacement and expansion of that porch on that front elevation. The proposed height does increase by a few feet. It's now at 26 feet. And then the floor plan shows an existing 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom dining and living space. Proposed on the site is 6 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 dining rooms, and 2 living spaces, with the first floor mirroring the second floor. Oh, for design considerations, we are considering a flip gabled roof feature on the east and west elevations, along with color and finish details of the exterior siding, trim, and porch deck railings. We also are recommending that. With that being said, we do have a recommendation for approval of the site landscaping and architectural plan subject to the Board of Appeals meeting being applied for and the variance being granted. If there's any questions, let me know. Thanks.
Thanks, Jack. Any questions? Go ahead, Wayne.
Jack, why do we have a setback in the system that says 1 foot 7 inches? I mean, why have it?
Yeah, so we have setbacks in the RB district to protect neighbors encroaching on nearby properties. And in this case, it's a very flexible setback of 3 foot, but the existing building was built before setbacks existed in the city of West Dallas. So you see that 1 foot 7 inch distance from the property line to the existing structure, just because of that historical nature of this house. But in modern zoning code, we do have those setback requirements just to protect spacing between neighboring houses and also give additional leeway for things such as the spread of fire. So you see those setbacks existing for that reason.
Property line actually is, what do you think, Jack? About a couple feet inside of the sidewalk. So I know it looks here like there's probably, 5 or 6 feet between the house and the sidewalk, but the actual property line is probably somewhere right around where this cursor is. So it's, about almost 2 feet from the building, 1.7 feet or 1.7 inches, but probably a couple 2 to 3 feet inside of the sidewalk.
Do we allow 0 lot line?
Not in this zoning district. The front yard the building has to be 10 feet back from the front yard and then 3 feet off of the side yard. Now, there's not another building north of this because it's you've got the sidewalk and the street. But nevertheless, in the RB zoning district, you have to have a 3 foot and a 3 foot side yard on each side of the building.
Thank you.
So, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Right now it's a 1.7, and then that's not gonna change though, right?
So
So
no,
it's
yeah,
going up, not going out.
right, yeah. Instead of that new addition that's being put on here being 3 feet off of the property line, it's going to be 1 foot 7 inches off the property line, similar to the existing building. What would happen is that if they were to build the addition with the setback, there'd actually be, you'd have the existing house would stay here, and then the new addition would be set back another roughly 1.5 feet. So you have this staggered looking home, the existing home, the original home, and then this addition that will be staggered off the back. So instead of doing that and being, I guess, pure with the zoning ordinance, they're going to be seeking an appeal before the Board of Appeals to try to keep just sort of the uniformity of the home. So it's more or less that rectangle like all the other homes, it's just more uniform that way.
And then on there it says that you want the clip gable as well. Is there a reason for that?
Just other homes in the area have,
Because the one on the other side of it and the one next to it,
yeah.
that doesn't have it.
Yeah, I mean, the one behind it does. The one across the street, I guess not shown, I guess does. I mean, it's a real mixed bag. I mean, it wouldn't be, if the Plan Commission desires just a regular gable roof without that, little hip on the top, the clipped portion, it's certainly an option. This was what was originally submitted to us with just the more standard gable with a vent up in the top. We just thought, the existing home has that, the original design features that little hipped gabled roof on the top there. Maybe why not keep that as part of the design going forward with a new build, with a new look on the duplex. So
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
more homes in myself, small.
Yeah.
Places, so when I move to approve, I don't necessarily consider the clip gable a thing to worry about myself.
Okay.
But I would move to approve that, yes.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right. Hearing no discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair votes aye and the motion carries. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys. All right.
Then we move to item 4, site plan design review for proposed outdoor seating for Aroma Cafe and existing business at 8100 West National.
Thank you, Mayor. This is for, shown on that screen. We see the location of Aroma Cafe, a new cafe that sells coffee and sweets on the corner of 81st and National. There's no changes to the business operations with those hours remaining the same with those Monday through Friday and Saturday hours. Shown on the site plan, you see on the top screen, it's a very rough draft shown just to give an example of the tables and chairs that will be utilized for this business property. And then shown on that bottom picture is the yellow space, which indicates the area that the tables and chairs will occupy. Items are restricted to be under the existing canopy unless a extension to the grant of privilege, which allows obstructions onto city right of way to occur or to be expanded. Additionally, all items must maintain ADA accessibility of 6 feet to keep that sidewalk intact. And this project is brought possible by the expansion of National Avenue's sidewalk terrace as part of one of the about a decade ago, the reconstruction plans that were proposed for or in place for this street corridor. So with that being said, we do have recommendation for approval, subject to city engineer review of the site to see if there is any encroachment into city right of way, which will require a grant of privilege. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Yes, Wayne.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm not familiar with a grant of privilege. What is a grant of privilege?
So a grant of privilege is essentially a formal document that outlines obstructions into city right of way, such as awnings, in this case, tables and chairs. It grants liability it gives liability to the property owner if, let's say, somebody gets injured by a falling sign, God forbid, that the city is not at fault for that. I believe that's correct. Yeah. And it's essentially just a formal recognition of that encroachment onto city right of way.
Thank you. Full approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second by Eric Torkelson. Any other discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye and the motion carries. Here's item 4. We'll move on to item 5.
Thanks, Mayor. Mandel Group is requesting a 9-month extension of time for this project that was approved back in 2023. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, 6 month. Since they've applied originally for the 6 month, they've asked for 9 months. So, so I mean, between 6 and 9 months is the range. Now, there's definitely allowance for this within our code in Chapter 19 to request an extension of time. They the financing and I guess just in certain terms of the other things that they had going on with the Sona Lofts and Makers Row development, put them behind on the development of this site. So they don't, rather than starting over from scratch, coming back through the Planning Commission for design review and conditional use approval, what this extension does is basically keep the pulse going. And as long as the plans don't drastically change and they, this was for 54 units and with the design represented here with the different look and landscaping and architectural plan that was approved back in November of 2023. As long as that is maintained, they could, it basically is a placeholder and they could continue later this year is what their intent is. Later fourth quarter this year or in between fourth quarter this year and first quarter of next year, they'd like to begin construction of this project. So with that extension of time, it would help them achieve that timing.
Thank you. Yes, Wayne.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is the Mandel Group in regular contact with you?
Yes. Yeah, we've been talking with Dan Katz of Mandel Group, and he had actually applied for this, and indicated his intent to start later this year, fourth quarter.
You're confident that will happen?
We'll see. I mean, but what I am confident is that, you know, keeping this alive, at least till that time, if it doesn't happen, if we don't see something going on later this year or early next year, I would say, you know, if they come back again, it might be at some point we may have to just say, well, start over. Right. Yeah.
I'll move.
Question on the extension.
Yeah.
So does that mean that they have to start the project within that time and not complete it, right?
Yeah, they would have to start it within that 6 to 9 months. You know, if Plan Commission wants to offer a 6-month extension, or if you would recommend a 9-month extension, I guess what's 9 months from now? Is it February or something like that? So I mean, they would prefer 9 months. Would be Mandel's request.
What's your recommendation?
9 months.
Not
9 months. Yeah. Yeah. 9.
So that's gonna be in January then, they're gonna start building in winter?
It's a good question. At least they could have their design plans put together, applying for building permits, and then maybe breaking ground shortly thereafter. As long as we see some progress towards, you know, I think the main thing would be design, you know, construction drawings, building permits, you know, and then that plan review taking place. That would be, I think, sufficient traction. Yeah.
Did you say there's some financing thing going on?
Well, I mean, with all this is a tax incremental financing district, and I'm sure, you know, they're going to be talking to us with our economic development team about, you know, this development. Typically, the developer brings some amount of equity, but there's always with construction costs and, you know, labor costs. There's always some gap.
And this one wants himself, they're full.
Yes, yeah,
I mean, so there's no, you know.
they're looking to build more to fill the need. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
All right. We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I'd like to ask Steve to give us a one-line monthly update on how Mandel is doing.
One line,
Just a one-liner,
maybe one word.
one word.
Line.
Fine or
Good.
not fine.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs down, yeah. One
Okay.
number, 1 to 10.
Whatever you'd like.
All right.
Fair enough. Good. We'll move to item 6, Cook Specialty.
Thank you, Mayor. This is for a signage project, that's proposed on the existing Cook's, building in downtown West Dallas. We see a signage area of 32 square feet. This sign will be, with the help of public involvement, and it's a collaborative project that will be completed during a la carte, which is a unique aspect compared to other signage we've seen in the city. The art design is drawn on 4-foot by 8-foot piece poly tabs, and then the sheet will be cut into 4 inch by 4 inch squares for community members to actually purchase and paint, and then that will be applied to the overall signage itself. With this signage, we are seeking that sign appeal, or the downtown West Dallas bid is seeking the sign appeal due to the creative sign criteria needing to require that appeal. This is regulated by section 13.21. Staff believes overall that the sign meets the design, quality, and context and architectural criteria that's designated, and it's a fresh update to the Cook's exterior frontage while offering a unique opportunity for some community involvement within a piece of West Dallas.
Mr. Mayor, I think it's great. I'd move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments?
That's the art design that's up on top.
That was my question.
Well, I read it at first, I'm like, are we gonna create the one little 400 by 4? Because that would just be our stuff.
Do you have anything to
Diana,
add, you'd like?
Sure. So, I have sampled this, poly tab is basically like a canvas. And they've used this in Menominee Falls, on the 4 corners in Menominee Falls. But we're going to do this, and then it will already have the black outline. So let's just say They're gonna do the donut in the lower left. You know, it already have everything on there, so they just have to paint whatever. We give them the color, so it's basically coloring the lines.
So this is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, how weather resistant is it?
It's very weather resistant, so then, I just brought one of these along. So this is what it would get mounted on,
Okay.
the 4x4
Standing.
squares with like a Nova gel. And then once it's all
I think I want
squared dots,
just-
the artists come back and they might put more sprinkles on it or
Oh,
just embellish it or fill in or whatever. And then the Nova gel goes on that. So, it's been, but in Menominee Falls, this went right on the building. But because this building kind of goes like this, we thought to mount it or something like that. And then we're just going to put this like in a frame made out of like the Trex wood or whatever, and then,
And this is, sorry, this is gonna be in the bottom center,
under the word cooks.
under the word here.
Right,
Okay, perfect.
Oh, right there.
yeah,
Oh, so actually on the building, not up on the sign.
no, on the building, so people, and then we're gonna have something, people can sign up and said, oh, they had square V2. So
So that
20 years from now,
wayfinding.
I could say, I painted that, So, yeah, if this works out good, I mean, the owners of Cooks would like the other side too right away, so
And then
they're
it
very excited about this.
it would have a graffiti proof coating over it.
Yes. Yes,
And graffiti resistant.
right, and we kind of want it to be eye level,
Yeah.
people trying with it, so. And the theme was
Selfie
Cooks
spot.
on this side,
True.
Aggies and Freezes on the other side, and the sweet shop area.
And a dental office up the street.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Sponsoring the,
Yeah. Square, so, can't really do much damage, especially if it's got the.
Oh.
That's all I want to say, thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Diane.
Great, thank you, yeah.
Cool project.
So if this works
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
All right, any
Thank
other
you.
discussion? Yeah, thanks. Any other discussion? Now I know we have a motion this time. And a second.
Yeah.
All in favor, please say aye. Anyone opposed? Ayes have it. And we can move to, are they here for us?
Yep. David and Janessa are here for the ordinance number 7.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
We'll go to item 7. Okay.
Thanks, Mayor. David and Jess are here representing their interest in changing working with us and all the common council on a ordinance change to amend the text of our current zoning ordinance to allow a certain type of vehicle service shop, not as a conditional use, but as a limited use, and then thereby reducing the restrictions that are currently imposed through the conditional use process. Right now, the city has about 66 different, that's the list on the far left there, different vehicle repair shops in the city. Everything from Z-Bart to, Alice Automotive Repair, from east to west. So we're well covered. Right now, the city does require conditional use for any such type of vehicle service. And with that requirement, there's a separation clause. In other words, if you want to locate a brand new or a new business that features vehicle repair, it has to be separated. It cannot be abutting a residential zoning district or a residential use. David and Jessen are interested in a property on 81st and Greenfield Avenue, 8123 Greenfield Avenue. And I think I got a picture of it right here. This is the lower left, just a snapshot. That's the picture. It's next to the, I think it's Neon House piano. And then there's a restaurant just to the west of that, which is the La Salsa restaurant. And in between is an old Best Electric contractor shop. It's kind of blocked by that large trailer that says Best Electric on it. They've since moved the trailers are gone now. And they'd really like to run their what their business name is Dynamic Auto Glass and Tint, and it's basically replacing broken windshields, or if you want to tint your windows, they can do that as well. They'd like to do that on the site. The problem with that, just based on our, I don't have a zoning map up here, but if we look at the aerial view of that property, so here's that 8123 property that they'd like to run their business from, and then there's an alley. This is Greenfield Avenue and State Fair Park across the street. And behind this area behind here is zoned residential. So that's the problem. Currently, our vehicle repair requires a conditional use, and one of the conditions is that you can't be abutting residential districts. So they have that issue. They reached out to the alderpersons of the second district, so Chad and Marissa, and both Chad and Marissa are supportive of some sort of change here. And we talked about different things, but this is more or less where we landed. And the idea is our current ordinance for light motor vehicle service or vehicle service is defined as the maintenance or repair or enhancement of a motor or a vehicle having a gross weight rating of 10,000 pounds or less for compensation. What we did with what's proposed with a new definition and use, we're going to call it light motor vehicle service limited. And that's going to be specific to auto glass services, glass repair, replacement, tint enhancements for motor vehicles having a gross weight of 10,000 pounds or less. So very similar to the definition above, except a little bit more specific to make an allowance as a limited use for auto glass and tinting services. And then let me just flip to the next slide here. This is kind of what we talked about above, the existing principal use table and the condition with the residential clause. With the new use, with the limited service use and that new definition, we would require a limited. We're proposing to structure this instead of a conditional use as a limited use. And what a limited use is basically saying that it's otherwise a permitted use, but there's some limitations, and the limitation here would be, it's hard to read, I'll read it out, would be it's going to be a use that's permitted when on-site services are performed indoors. So any tinting or glass services are performed indoors within the shop, within the building. And then it's also going to be subject to a design review, meaning site landscaping architectural design review. So while permitted, there's just a couple caveats that we want to make sure, just so we know we can have some control through plan commission, site control, and just to make sure that we're respecting our neighbors and not creating a lot of noise with cars being worked on outside that they worked on inside the building. David's here, and he's a lot of his business. David, you're out in the community quite a bit with the glass windshield services or glass services. You can actually go to someone's home or place of work or meet them anywhere out in the community and probably replace glass. So I think a lot of that work is done, outside of this shop area. But the tinting services, I think, are going to be done more so on site, where you're going to pull the car in and you have a more controlled environment, with limit dust and debris and, wind and stuff like that, so you can get a good job done. So feel free to, if you have anything to add as far as your business, I mean, yeah.
So like, last time we met,
Yeah.
we were talking about like just the parking and having cars sitting around.
Yeah.
Big thing for you guys.
Yeah.
Which, it's a big parking lot, I do a lot with it, but.
Yeah.
But it's nothing like that at all. I wouldn't be having cars sitting there. It's not like the body shop just having cars waiting to get work done. Yeah, most of my services are in and out same day kind of thing. So, I would expect to keep everything clean at all times.
So we're recommending, a council approval of the ordinance. And we'll actually prepare a more formal ordinance, but specified as we did in the summary here. And then with that, the next steps, if council will take this up at a public hearing on May 20th to, decide on what they want to do with the ordinance. If that passes as shown with the requirement for indoor, with the indoor allowance, as well as the design review requirement, we'd then be working with David and Janessa on, kind of these three things here in terms of getting a basic understanding of the hours of operation and how long cars typically stay on the site, and then working with them on a site plan just to understand, what types of improvements do they want to make to the site, to sort of give it a little more, freshen it up a little bit. And then also, I think they have ideas for the building itself too. They're not only going to renovate the interior for his new shop, but I think they have ideas for the exterior of the building as far as repainting it and making it more customer friendly, for people that come here for services. And there's just a different view of the aerial view of the specific site as it's laid out right now. And this is how it was operating with Best Electric. They had 2 trailers once upon a time on the site. Those trailers are gone. But what staff sees, we just kind of really laid out a really basic outline here of some improvements that we would see fit for the, just moving forward with, should the ordinance get passed, what we would see by way of a recommendation for the site development. Just doing something along the frontage of Greenfield Avenue to sort of green it up a bit, creating, just sort of accentuating a pedestrian walkway from the sidewalk on Greenfield Avenue up to the front lobby. Just laying out a little bit of a floor plan of how they want to look at the different parts of the building. I think this would be the shop area where they pull cars into to do tinting and glass services, and then there's other parts for yeah, a lobby and storage and office and stuff like that within the building. And then their parking is pretty much laid out here and here. They have access off the alley and, just some general cleanup. So, and with that, if we get to that design review component part, I mean, the plan commission would certainly review that. And then they could also offer the business time to complete that. It would all start with a basic site plan to sort of show, what they want to do, and then plan commission could absorb that and decide how much time they want to grant. The typical allowance for is usually about a year. Of note, Greenfield Avenue is going to be under construction probably later this decade at some point, and it will be very disruptive. But coordinating all of that, I mean, I think we want to get to if the ordinance passes, we want to get to a plan for, what the site, how the site can be improved, and David and Janice can certainly provide that.
Thanks, guys. Pen up.
Thank you. Questions for the applicants? Where are you located now?
I just rent a spot out on Holton and Capitol on the east side of Milwaukee. About 3.5 years into my business, and like you were saying, it's mostly mobile work. So getting a little busier, getting into more of the tinting aspect, and need, hire somebody and have someone work shop more. But yeah, I just rent a 1-car spot out. So this is going to be a big step. I'm able to,
And what do you foresee as the number of vehicles on site at any one time, like overnight? Would they be indoors?
Yeah, I would like to keep any customer vehicles inside. I don't plan on having anything sitting around or anything like that. So like I was saying, it's like a same day service usually. And it does take a little longer to have customer cars inside, just so they don't get messed with everything. And stay there, I feel.
Welcome to West Valley.
Any other, Brian?
So is it just, the repair of the glass and tinting? Are you doing like alarms or radio, or anything like that?
Doing, like, I have a friend that does car wrapping as well. Which like falls and same thing, tinting, just stick it on, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
No, ain't nothing like that. I'm just talking about how far is this ordinance expanded into what are we incorporating into this?
Yep.
Just our glass, is it just a tint? Or is it gonna be like where, they can do something else on the, like.
It's primarily,
Nothing against you guys.
Yeah.
Just on the ordinance.
it's focused mainly on the exterior of the car. So, I mean, not auto body, but, where you're doing a lot of, painting, but I mean, wraps, tint, glass would be within this wheelhouse.
Alarms or anything like that? Is that out?
I think alarms, you start getting into a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty specific auto glass services, including glass repair, replacement, tint enhancements. So, I mean, that's the way we've sort of set this up. I mean, if we need to be a little bit more specific with maybe the wrap part, we certainly could.
Okay.
But I think we were mainly focusing on the exterior of the vehicle, kind of versus getting into the engines and, electrical and oil and all that kind of stuff. So
Is this division or distinction mimicked in other communities? Or is this new for us?
this is new for us.
Or is
Yeah.
it done anywhere else?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, I just,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I just don't
Sure.
want it to like trip us up down the road with
Sure.
something. And then, yeah, I was gonna say, you mentioned State Fair, and if we're asking for a lot of landscaping when the time comes, or you think it's excessive, it's probably gonna be partly because that street has a million visitors every August looking at West Dallas and how it looks, so we want it to look nice. And then the,
Definitely need freshening up and updating here and there.
Yeah.
Pop out a little more.
Sure. And is the parking lot in rough shape? That one area looked pretty
Yeah.
cracked.
A little bit of a rough view, but
I'll take it from the floor, doesn't look like.
Okay. And I'm not
Yeah.
pushing for it, but just something to think of long term. When you're 5 years in and making millions.
Yeah.
Good. All right, we had a motion and a second. If there is no other discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping in. Have a good night.
Nice to meet you
Yeah,
both.
sure.
And then we'll have item 8.
Thanks, Mayor. This is a property owned by Tanner Paul at 69th and Orchard Street. And it's zoned, the area that we're, so behind Tanner Paul, there's an alley that runs north and then turns left. At the very end of this alley here, it turns left back out to 70th Street. But Tanner Paul also owns this 30 by roughly 120 lot, about 3,600 square feet. And right now it's about 8 parking stalls and a refuse enclosure. They have a tenant that's interested in operating a barbecue smoker trailer. The name of the business is Iron Pig, Schwartz Foods, and he's around town in his food truck, but he apparently is building a food trailer that he's going to smoke meats on, and he wants to do that upon this lot. It may be in the parking lot here. It may be right behind this refuse enclosure. There's a little bit more land area behind that refuse enclosure here. It's hard to see, but the site is something that we're going to be asking him to provide a little bit more information. But he has the attention of the first district alderpersons, Alderman Turner and Alderman Grob, and they've actually sponsored the ordinance to at least go through the steps of coming before Planning Commission for consideration, and then we'll schedule a public hearing on May 20th to see what the rest of the council thinks. But we are recommending, that this could be approved. It's certainly consistent with the existing land use, which is commercial. Be rezoning it from multifamily residential to commercial. Be just like Tanner Paul is zoned commercial. This little lot to the east of that alley could be zoned commercial. With that, if it is rezoned, it's not like Iron Pig can just show up and start smoking meats. There would have to be a site plan that would come before the city's planning commission to show what alterations they plan on doing to the site. Certainly has to be on a paved surface. There may be some screening considerations. The refuse enclosure that Tanner Paul has is a little bit beat up. There's some bricks falling off of it. So there's some property maintenance things that we'd like to see. If they're going to be running electrical power over to that smoker, which I think is probably a good idea, they'll have to apply for electrical permits. I'm not sure if it's such a good idea if they're proposing to run a generator to power anything, because that's noise, and then you have multifamily apartments just across south of Orchard Street, north of Tanner Paul, and east of Tanner Paul. So there are some concerns and sensitivities with the surrounding residential development that we need to get a better understanding of, I think, before, I guess if council wants to rezone it, wonderful, but at the same time, even if it is zoned commercial, it's not a green light for the smoking to begin until these 3 things are coordinated with us. So basically site planning, specs on the smoker unit, and then coordinating with health department.
Thank you. Any questions?
If
Brian?
it's rezoned and none of this goes through, does it just then stay
If it's,
Rezoned?
it would stay rezoned, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, I mean, if you feel, that you only want to rezone it if this, because of a smoker, or if you feel it's best to be rezoned, if the smoker doesn't happen, then I suppose it could be something else in the commercial C2 district, which, you know, tinting services or, I don't know. I mean, but it's some, yeah, sure.
It's just like it, you can see it right there within the residential.
Mhm.
Canada building.
Yeah.
And it's kind of
Yeah.
a small spot.
Right. So
It's limited on what you can even put there.
it's a very small lot, so that is limiting in some respects. I mean, I think consistency with the, I get it. It's a totally separate lot from that of Tanner Paul. So it's not like it's attached to it, to Tanner Paul. It's just dislocated from it, separated by that alley. So I guess in my opinion, if these three things can't be shown by the applicant that's seeking this, I don't know that council should just be in a hurry to rezone this. I mean, I think the applicant needs to show us something, to build some confidence and some comfort level before we just go ahead and rezone something.
I mean.
Yeah. Right, exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Very, very good.
Are they operating now?
Not yet,
Okay.
that I'm aware of.
Could we rezone it based on them meeting the conditions, the three conditions? Whereas if they don't meet the three conditions, then it's not rezoned.
I'll have to talk, I just want to make sure that we're not doing some kind of like contract zoning or something like, but I mean, I think, yeah, it's,
But we're just recommending to the.
we're
council.
just recommending to council, yeah,
We're
so
not voting.
tonight's decision is not final, it's got to go to council for public hearing yet too, and hopefully by then, we'll have a little bit more information from, Mr. Schwartz on these three items. Now, the health department has weighed in and they said that that there is a path towards, this working. So I feel like number three can be worked out, but numbers 1 and 2 are really just sort of basic asks, if we, let's just say everything was approved, rezoned this evening, we still don't really know what we're gonna get. Because he's gonna put it over here, is he gonna put it up here, and then is he gonna put it on the grass, which wouldn't be allowed, you have to have it on a paved surface, so just need a little more information.
There's really nothing residential on that side anyways.
There's apartments.
Yeah,
I mean, but there's so much space between this and the apartment with the grass and the trees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If we can put it to use.
Yeah.
Make some money for the city that way. I mean, I'd approve that.
it is, I think Tanner Paul's a nonprofit organization, I believe they're tax exempt, so I mean, it's,
Tax exempt then too.
yeah, I mean, it's tax exempt land right now, so. Yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions? Did we have a motion?
Second. I'll second.
All right. There is no other discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Update before we adjourn.
Well, there's a lot going on throughout the city. Everything from North Shore Bank on 105th and National to the upper right is the Land by Labels property on 70th and at West Allis Chalmers Way, Washington Street, for the apiary Pan Asia grocery store, hopefully opens this fall. On the lower left is St. Al's property. That property will be coming to us, we think, next month for the demo to be reviewed for the site demolition. F Street is the new owner of that property. They purchased it from Cardinal Capital, and they endeavor to tear it down and then build, I think about, was it 160 apartments?
Yeah.
Ranging in from townhomes to some higher level stuff on Greenfield Avenue. It's a picture of the gym. We toured that this morning, just sort of a look at that building. Panasia, Novanessus, Project Thor is moving along on their 50,000 square foot addition. The Union Green mixed use development is, walls are going up, the slabs are within the garages were poured and being sealed today. That's what that's gonna look like when it's done, some mixed use development. 19 units in a cafe, we think, and then the AP area and 70th and what used to be Washington Street, now West Dallas Chalmers Way, 250 units. And there's a massive crane that just showed up today. They put that together and it's lifting precast panels that are being tipped up and put into place. The first, it's going to be coming out of the ground real soon. That's what that's going to look like. The Emerald on 76th across the street from us. The new windows are going in on the west side, that west elevation. They're framing in new windows today. Those boards will be removed and then the building will be freshened up to, for the new Emerald event space. Checkers drive-through restaurant on 110th and Greenfield and the Festival Foods parking lot. It's an outlot that is going up. Their drive-through and Tsunami Car Wash is moving along. And Heartbreakers is working on his accessory parking. I don't know. It took like 2 or 3 years to finally get this far. So I don't know. It's just a parking lot, but it's a win, right? It's like, yeah.
I'm working on it.
So yeah. But yeah, they're going to complete that retaining wall too. They're working on that. So, and then Lime Scooters is going to launch soon. Probably this week or next in West Dallas. So they're just starting to roll them out in Tosa, and then I think we're next. So, but that's just the data from last year. They started last year around Labor Day, and there were a total of 85, almost 8,600 trips total, with 3,100 riders, and then it was a little over 14,000 miles were traveled in West Dallas. So.
So they're not in West Dallas right now, because I see them.
Yeah, they're on the fringes right now, I think. So on the borders. Yeah. They end. So this contract that's signed with, with Lime runs from now basically through the end of the year. And if it's anything like last year, they decommissioned, they pulled the scooters off the streets about November 15th, mid-November. So just to beat the possible winter. So that's that. Thank you.
I need to ask, I guess I could do it after we adjourn, but reappointments. Kathleen's not here, David's not here, but Brandon and Jessica, are you interested in serving another term on the planning commission?
Yes.
Yeah, great.